Hello, welcome to our channel Learn to Score. In this video, we are going to discuss algebraic expressions chapter for class 8th. The topics covered are Introduction to algebraic expressions, addition and subtraction of algebraic expressions, multiplication of algebraic expressions where we discuss about multiplication of monomials, multiplication of monomials and binomials, and multiplication of a pair of binomials, and multiplication of monomial and trinomials, binomial and trinomials, etc. What is an identity and some important identities. We further discuss about application of identities and end the chapter with geometrical verification of identities. I hope you will like the video. Please subscribe to our channel for regular updates. Thank you. Let us learn about algebraic expressions now. Let us consider the following expressions. 3 plus 8 minus 9, 15 plus 0 minus 9, 3x plus 5, 4xy minus 7, 3x divided by y. The first two terms are called numerical expressions. The reason is that all the terms of these expressions are just numbers, right? The other three are called algebraic expressions. The reason is that some of the terms have got product of a constant and a variable. Here 3 is the constant and x is the variable, right? In this particular case of 4xy minus 7, 4 is constant, x and y are the variables, right? As you see here, every expression contains one or more number of terms, right? In this particular case, we have only one term. For other cases, for these two cases, we have two terms. And for numerical expressions, we have three terms, right? Let us consider the expression 3x plus 5. It has got two terms, 3x and 5, right? 3x is called algebraic term and 5 is called numeric term. 3x is called algebraic term. The reason is that it is a product of constant 3 and variable x. Please note this. Those terms are called algebraic terms. And 5 is a constant, that is why it is called a numeric term. In the case of 4x y minus 7, you have two terms, right? 4xy is one term and 7 is another term. X and y are the variables here. 4 and 7 are the constants, right? 4xy is the algebraic term and 7 is the numeric term, right? Let us consider another expression, that is a by b plus 0.4. It has got two terms. A by b is one term and 0.4 is another term, right? The variables are a and b, whereas constant is 0.4, right? For algebraic expressions, the term is defined as follows: product of a constant and one or more variables. In the case of 3x, we have seen 3 is the constant and x is the variable. 3x is product of those two, right? When it comes to 4xy, you have constant 4, x and y as the variables, and their product is 4xy, right? That is why 4xy is called a term of algebraic expression. Expressions are collections of terms, right? And they are formed by addition or subtraction of one or more number of terms. For example, when I say that 3 plus 8 minus 9 is an expression, it is a collection of few numbers and you are having addition of some terms and subtraction of some terms, right? The same is true with 4xy minus 7. You have two terms, 4xy is one term and 7 is another term, and you are adding or subtracting, right? Here you are subtracting 7 from 4xy, right? That's why this is called an expression. I hope you got the concept. Now let's understand about classification of algebraic expressions. Let us consider few algebraic expressions. 5xy square, 3xy plus x, 2x plus 2, 2x plus 5xy plus 6, 2x square plus 3x plus 6, 2y cube plus 3y square plus 6y plus 7, and 2x. These are few example expressions, few examples for algebraic expressions, right? The expressions containing only one term are called monomials. This is the definition. Please note this definition. Expressions containing only one term are called monomials. It means 5xy square and 2x, which have got only one term, right? So they are called monomials. The expressions containing two terms are called binomials. In the case of 3xy plus x and 2x plus 2, you have two terms only, right? That's why those two are examples of binomials. The expressions containing three terms are called trinomials. It means 2x plus 5xy plus 6 and 2x square plus 3x plus 6. These are examples of trinomials, right? And in general, the expressions containing one or more terms are called multinomials. It means whatever examples we have written for algebraic expressions here, all these are multinomials or polynomials. Please note this. Now let's learn about degree of an algebraic expression. Let us write 2x as 2x power 1, right? You can write it because x power 1 is equal to x. That's why I am writing 2x as 2x power 1. The reason for that is we want to see what is the degree of this particular expression. Degree of monomial is defined as follows. The sum of the exponents of variables of a monomial is called its degree. Here you have 2x power 1 as the monomial. The variable is x and its exponent or power, that is 1, right? It means the degree of monomial 2x is 1, right? Let us write 5xy square as 5x power 1 times y square, right? Here the exponents are 1 and 2. Variables are x and y. X power is 1, y power is 2, right? So sum of the exponents are sum of the powers of the variables is 1 plus 2, that is equal to 3, right? It means that the degree of the monomial 5xy square is 3. Please note this concept. Degree of an algebraic expression is defined as follows. Highest degree among the degrees of different terms of the expression is called degree of algebraic expression. In these cases, you have only monomial, right? That's why the degree of monomial is equal to degree of algebraic expression. When it comes to binomial, trinomial, and polynomials, we have to look at highest degree among the degrees of different terms. Please note that. So 2x plus 2 can be written as 2x power 1 plus 2x power 0. When I write x power 0, it means it is 1, right? Anything power 0 is 1. That's why I can write 2x plus 2 as 2x power 1 plus 2x power 0. The highest degree here you have is 1, right? Highest degree of the terms is 1. It means the degree of algebraic expression 2x plus 2 is 1. Please note this. 3xy plus x is another algebraic expression, right? Its highest degree is 2. The reason is that you have x power 1, y power 1, right? And here x power 1. This 1 plus 1 is 2. That's why the highest degree of terms is 2. Hence, degree of algebraic expression 3xy plus x is 2, right? Let us consider another algebraic expression, that is 2x square plus 3x plus 6. From here, you can say that highest degree is 2, this particular 2. Here you have 1, here you have x power 0, right? That's why the degree of algebraic expression given is 2. Degree of 2y cube plus 3y square plus 6y plus 7 is 3. The reason is that you have highest degree of terms, that is 3, right? Let us now learn about addition and subtraction of algebraic expressions. Before that, let's understand like and unlike terms of algebraic expressions. Consider following terms: 2x, 3x square, 4x, minus 5x, 7x square, 7x cube, 2y, 3xy square, 4y, 8xy square. As you see here, 2x, 4x and minus 5x have same variable x, and the power is 1 in all the cases, right? That's why we say that 2x, 4x and minus 5x are like terms. Please note this. In the case of 2y and 4y, we have the same variable y and their power is also 1. That's why they are like terms. 3x square plus 7x square. Sorry, 3x square and 7x square. These are also like terms because variable is x and power is 2. Right? 3xy square and 8xy square are also called like terms because the variables are x and y, and x power is 1 in both the terms and y power is 2 in both the terms, right? That's why they are like terms. So the definition of like terms is as follows: the terms having same variables with same exponent are like terms, right? It means 7x square and 7x cube are going to be unlike terms. The reason is that even though the variable is same, the powers are not same, right? One is 2 and other is 3. When it comes to 7x cube and 3xy square, you have variables different, first of all, right? And powers are also different. That's why they are unlike term, right? With that in mind, let's now learn about addition of algebraic expressions. Let's add 5x square plus 3xy plus 2y square, that is one expression, and 2y square minus xy plus 4x square, that is another expression, right? Here, the first expression has got 3 terms total, and the second expression also has got 3 terms, right? What are the like terms of these expressions? Let's take a look at that. 5x square and 4x square, right? These two are like terms. 3xy and xy is another pair of like terms. 2y square and 2y square both are same actually. Hence we can say that they are like terms. Now what I'm going to do is, I have 3 pairs of like terms, right? So what I'm going to now do is, let's write the expression such that one below the other, such that the like terms align in columns. It means 5x square and 4x square should align in one column. 3xy and xy should align in another column. 2y square and 2y square should align in the other column. When you write these expressions one below the other, you have to get that arrangement. It means the first expression I am writing as is 5x square plus 3xy plus 2y square. When it comes to the second expression, I have to write 4x square first, right? Then xy term minus xy, then comes 2y square, right? Let's write that now. 4x square minus xy plus 2y square. By writing this way, we have got the like terms align in column format, right? Here you have x square terms, here you have xy terms, Here you have y square term. Let's add them now. It means you will be adding the coefficients of each of the terms. It is going to be 5 plus 4, that is 9x square, plus 3 minus 1 times xy, that is 2xy, plus 2 plus 2 times y square, it means it is 4y square. You understood? 5 plus 4, that is 9, and x square is written as is. 3 and minus 1 here. 3 plus minus 1 equal to 2, that is written, and xy is written as is. 2 plus 2, that is 4 here, and y square is written as is. This is how we add algebraic expressions, right? Now let's add another pair of algebraic expressions. The first expression is 2y square plus 3x minus x square. The second expression is 5x square minus 3xy. As you see here, the first expression has got 3 terms. The second expression has got only 2 terms, right? Now let's try to understand what are the like terms of these expressions. As you see here, x square and 5x square are the only like terms, right? Meaning the other terms are unlike terms. What to do now? Let's note that not all the terms of an expression have like terms in other expression, right? Here, 2 terms extra are there. They don't have like terms in this expression. Whereas here you have 3xy and we don't have 3xy in the first expression. Sorry, term which is like to 3xy, right? Now to go further in this process of addition, what we do is, let's see what are the terms. We have seen the terms in that have y square, right? Here. And we have terms having x, that is 3x. We have terms having x square, that is minus x square in the first expression, and 5x square in the second expression, right? And we have terms containing xy, that is in the second expression. Now what I'm going to do is, I'll write the first expression as 2y square plus 3x minus x square as is, and since it is not having a like term containing xy, I'm writing it as 0 xy. 0 times xy means it is essentially 0. We are not changing the expression, but for ease of addition, I have added a term containing 0 xy. For the second expression, now I can write 0 y square because the second expression has not got y square term, right? And x term also is not there. That's why I have written 0 y square plus 0x. When it comes to x square, we have 5x square, that is written as is. And when it comes to xy terms, we have minus 3xy, that is written as is, right? Now, let's write the expression one below the other such that the like terms align in columns. So as you see here, actually we already arranged them in the order of like terms, right? So let's write the expressions as is now and simply add them. 2 plus 0, that is equal to 2. So the first term is 2y square. When it comes to this, 3 plus 0, so that is 3x. Here minus 1 plus 5, right? It means plus 4. So let me write plus 4x square, right? 0 minus 3. It means it is minus 3xy, right? You understood? This is about addition of algebraic expression. Now let's learn about subtraction of algebraic expression. Let's subtract 2xy plus 9x square from 12xy plus 4x square minus 3y square. You remember this. We want to subtract this expression, the first expression, from the second expression. Please note this. What are the like terms in these expressions? We have 2xy in the first equation and 12xy in the second expression, right? And we have 9x square in the first expression and 4x square in the second expression. So those are like terms. So 3y square has no like term in the other expression, right? Let's now write the expression one below the other such that the like terms align in columns. I have written the first, this one, the second expression at the top, because it is said that we have to subtract 2xy plus 9x square from 12xy plus 4x square minus 3y square, right? That is why we have written the second expression at the top. And now I have to write the other expression below this. As you see here, I have added 0y square. Now let's subtract. When you want to subtract one expression from the other, the idea is that you have to change signs of each term in the expression being subtracted and then add. It means we have to change the sign of these terms in the expression below. 2xy is plus 2xy, that's why I have made it minus 2xy, and plus 9x square becomes minus 9x square, and 0y square becomes minus 0y, right? Now you simply add them. It means 12 minus 2, that is 10. So let me write 10xy. 4 minus 9, that is minus 5. It means 5x square. Minus 3y square minus 0y square means it is minus 3y square, right? Let us now learn about multiplication of algebraic expressions. Let's multiply two monomials 5x and 2y. That can be written as 5x times 2y, right? I can write 5x as 5 times x and 2y as 2 times y. It means 5x times 2y can be written as 5 times x times 2 times y. So let me arrange the terms such that I'll get constant terms first and variable terms later. I can such that I can write it as 5 times 2 times x times y. 5 times 2 is 10, x times y is xy. This can be now written as 10 times xy or 10xy, right? Let us consider another multiplication, that is 5x times minus 3y. 5x can be written as 5 times x and minus 3y can be written as minus 3 times y, right? And now let me arrange the constant terms in one place and variable terms later. When I do that, I can write it as 5 times minus 3 times x times y. 5 times minus 3 is minus 15 and x times y is xy. Let me write that. And this now can be written as 15xy minus 15xy, right? This is what we are asked to find. 5x times minus 3y equal to minus 15xy. Let's consider another multiplication problem. 5x times 4x square is what? 5x can be written as 5 times x and 4x square can be written as 4 times x square, right? And now let me rearrange it and write it as 5 times 4 times x square. As you see here, I can multiply 5 and 4 such that I can write it as 20. X times x square has to be written as x cube. As you see here, this has x power 1, this is x power 2. Since x is the base which is common to both, I can simply add the powers 1 plus 2, that is equal to 3. That's how we will be writing x power 1 times x square as x cube. So now it can be written as 20 times x cube means 20x cube. So the answer is 5x times 4x square is 20x cube, right? Now let's learn about multiplication of 3 or more monomials. Find the product of 5x, 6y and 7z. This can be written as 5x times 6y times 7z, right? We have seen the multiplication of two monomials, right? We can consider these two monomials first and multiply. The product is going to be another monomial, so that I can multiply that monomial with 7z later. It's like I'm making this multiplication of three monomials as multiplication of two monomials once and then multiplication of two monomials later, right? Let's do that way. 5x times 6y can be written as 5 times 6 times x times y, right? And I'm keeping the multiplication with 7z separate as is. So 5 times 6 is 30. Now this is going to be 30xy, right? Let me write that 30xy times 7z. Now this is one monomial and you have another monomial. You know how to multiply. As per that, it can be written as 30 times 7 times xy times z. So it is going to be 210 times xyz or 210 xyz, right? This can be solved in other way also. That is, I'm multiplying all the monomials in one shot, all the constants in one place and all the variables in other place later. So 5 times 6 times 7 is 210. X times y times z is xyz, right? Let me write that. 210 times xyz. That can be written as 210 xyz, right? This is what we are asked to find. In both the approaches, you got the same answer, right? So irrespective of which approach you take, it's going to be the same. It's always better to go with this, in one shot you can do, so that you will have less number of steps in the problem. Let's try to solve another problem with this approach, the second approach. 3x square y times 4xy square times 7x cube y cube is what? Now we can arrange, as you see here, I have constants, I have x terms, I have y terms, right? X terms, y terms, I have x terms, y terms in all the terms, right? Now let's segregate them. It means all the constants in one place, all the variable x terms in one place, all the variable y terms in one place. Like that, if you arrange, then multiplication is much easier, and finally you get the product is in a simple manner. Let's do that now. I'm putting all the constants in one place. 3 times 4 times 7. 3, 4, 7. Then I'm writing x square y, xy square and x cube y cube. Till now I have not separated terms containing x and terms containing y, right? We can do that also. We'll do that now. 3 times 4 times 7 is 84. So rest of the terms are as is. 84 times x square y times xy square times x cube y cube. Now let's, x square y can be written as x square times y. Xy square can be written as x times y square. X cube y cube can be written as x cube times y cube. Now I can arrange the terms containing x in one place and later the terms containing y, right? Let's do that now. I can write it as x square times x cube, that is written here. Then y square and y cube, those terms are here, right? And as we have seen earlier, since all these are having base x, what we would be doing is we would be summing the powers. 2 plus 1 plus 3. Here 1 plus 2 plus 3, right? 2 plus 1 plus 3 is 6. That's what we have written for x. And 1 plus 2 plus 3 is also equal to 6. That's what we have written here. So this is 84 x power 6 y power 6, right? To answer 3x square y times 4xy square times 7x cube y cube is 84x power 6 y power 6. Right? Now let's learn about multiplication of a binomial with a monomial. Let's multiply 5x and a binomial 6y plus 3. That can be written as 5x times 6y plus 3, right? Let's use distributive law. It means we consider the multiplication of these two and multiplication of these two separately and then add them. 5x times 6y, that is the first combination we want to multiply and put plus, and then the second combination is 5x and 3, right? That's what we have written. 5x times 6y can be written as 30xy and 5x times 3 is 15x. Let's write that. This is what we are asked to find, right? As you see here, when you multiply a monomial and a binomial, the answer you are getting is a binomial. When you multiply two monomials, three monomials, you always got a monomial as the answer. You try to recollect. In this particular case, you are getting a binomial. When you are multiplying a monomial and a binomial, you are getting a binomial. Please note this point. Let's solve another problem. This is minus 4xy times 2x minus y is what? This is binomial and this is monomial, right? Now, as we have done earlier, we'll be multiplying these two first and using the addition or subtraction and then multiply these two, right? When you do that, 4x minus 4xy, what I'm doing here is, instead of considering minus y as is, I am writing it as plus times minus y, right? The reason is that, we have learned to use the addition in the previous problem, right? Similarly, here also you can maintain that plus symbol so that this term has minus y now, right? Now let me multiply these two and then add that to the product of these two, right? Minus 4xy times 2x plus minus 4xy times minus y. That's what we have written now. This, when you multiply, this becomes minus 4xy times 2x becomes minus 8x square y. And this becomes plus 4xy square because you have minus here and you have minus here. That when you multiply, it becomes plus 4x times y square, right? Now, let's solve another problem. This is multiplication of a trinomial by a monomial. Let's multiply 2x and 3x plus 4y minus 6. What we would be doing is we would be multiplying these two first and then we'll be multiplying these two and we are going to multiply these two and keep the signs in between, the plus sign and minus sign. Let's use the distributive law. That's what we have explained just now. 2x times 3x, that is first one. The second one is 2x times 4y, that is the second one. The third one is 2x times minus 6. And I have kept the plus sign in between, right? Because I have written this minus 6 as plus times minus 6. Please note this. This can be written as 2x times 3x becomes 6x square and 2x times 4y is 8xy and 2x times minus 6 is minus 12x, right? Now I have plus and minus multiplication here. So this can be now written as 6x square plus 8xy minus 12x. Please note this, right? Now let's learn to multiply a binomial by another binomial. Let's multiply 5x plus 6y and 3x minus 2y. This is using the same procedure what we have learned till now. We are going to make use of distributive law. In that sense, we'll be taking 5x. This is one combination, and then you will be taking the product of this pair as another combination. That's what we are going to do now. 5x times 3x minus 2y. Here I'll be having plus sign now, and then plus 6y times 3x minus 2y. What we have done is we have taken this 5x and multiplied with 3x minus 2y, and then plus 6y multiplying this whole 3x minus 2y, right? We now know how to multiply this, right? You are going to take 5x times 3x, then 5x times 2y, like that. So let's do that. 5x times 3x times 5x times minus 2y, and you have to add this particular part now, that is 6y times plus 6y times 3x plus 6y times minus 2y, right? We can now write it as 5x times 3x is becoming 15x square, 5x times minus 2y is becoming minus 10xy, and 6y times 3x is 18xy, and 6y times minus 2y is minus 12y, right? As you see here, the term containing xy, here also the term containing xy. So we can add these two terms. 18 minus 10, that is 8, right? Let me write that. 15x square plus 8xy minus 12y square, right? The answer is 5x plus 6y times 3x minus 2y equal to 15x square plus 8xy minus 12y square. Let's solve another problem now. Multiply a binomial by a trinomial. Let's multiply 2x plus 3y and 3x plus 4y minus 5z. This can be written as shown here. As we have done earlier, we'll keep this as is and first multiply this and then multiply this and simply add them, right? 2x times 3x plus 4y minus 5z. This is first combination we said. The second, then we put plus and then put the second combination, that is 3y times 3x plus 4y minus 5. Now we know how to multiply these, right? You would be considering the multiplication of all these three terms like that, right? This can be now written as 2x times 3x 2 plus 2x times 4y plus 2x times minus 5z, right? Now we multiply this and add. That can be written as 3y times 3x, this is first term, and 3y times 4y, that is second term. We have plus here, and 3y times minus 5z, and we are using plus here. Please note this. Now let's simplify this such that you get 6x square minus 8xy minus 10xz for the first part, and for the second part you get 9xy plus 12y square minus y minus 15yz, right? As you see here, I have xy term here, xy term here. There are no other like terms, right? We'll be adding these two, 8xy and 9xy. Rest of the terms are kept as is, right? When you do that, you get 6x square plus 17xy minus 10xz plus 12y square minus 15yz as the answer. I hope you got the concept. Let us now learn about identities. What is an identity? Let us consider an equation a times a minus 2 equal to a square minus 2a. This is called an equation. The reason is that algebraic equation is a mathematical statement equating two expressions. As you see here, you have two expressions, right? And there is an equal to symbol in between. That's why this is called an algebraic equation. So algebraic equation is defined as follows. Algebraic equation is a mathematical statement equating two expressions. Please note this definition. Now let us consider another equation, that is a times a plus 1 equal to 6. Let's substitute a equal to 2 into this equation. The LHS, the left hand side term, now can be written as 2 times 2 plus 1, right? That is equal to 2 times 3, that is equal to 6, which is equal to right hand side of the given equation, right? Since LHS is equal to RHS in the case of a equal to 2, we say that a equal to 2 is a solution to the equation. Given equation, a times a plus 1 equal to 6. Right? Now let's consider a equal to minus 3 and substitute that into left hand side of expression of the given equation. So that becomes 6. When you substitute minus 3 for a, that is going to be minus 3 times minus 3 plus 1, that is equal to minus 3 times minus 2, that is equal to 6, which is equal to RHS, right? That's why we say that a equal to minus 3 is also a solution to the equation. Now let us consider a equal to 1. LHS is going to be 1 times 1 plus 1, that is equal to 1 times 2, that is equal to 2, which is not equal to RHS. RHS is 6, right? That's why what we say is a equal to 1 is not a solution to the given equation. Please note this. A times a plus 1 equal to 6 is true for only a equal to 2 and a equal to minus 3, and not true for all other values. We have seen only the case of a equal to 1, but you can substitute any of the numbers and see that this particular expression, when you get the value for different values of a other than 2 and minus 3, you will not get it as 6. It means the equation is not true for all those values. Except for 2 and minus 3, you will not get this equation true. Please note this point. Now let's consider the initial equation, that is a times a minus 2 equal to a square minus 2a. Now let's assume a equal to 2 and see what is the value of left hand side expression and find the value of right hand side expression and see whether they match or not. LHS is going to be a times a minus 2, that is equal to 2 times 2 minus 2, that is equal to 2 times 0 equal to 0. Now let's go to the RHS. RHS is a square minus 2a, that is 2 square minus 2 times 2, that is 4 minus 4, that is equal to 0. LHS is equal to RHS. It means a equal to 2 is a solution to this equation, right? Now let's consider a equal to 1. When you substitute that, LHS becomes minus 1. Let's see what happens to RHS. RHS also you are getting minus 1. It means 1 is a solution to the given equation, right? Let's consider a equal to 3. When you substitute a equal to 3 into left hand side expression, you get the value as 3. This is the value of left hand side expression. Get the value of right hand side expression. That is also equal to 3. It means LHS is equal to RHS. Hence we can say that a equal to 3 is a solution to this equation. If you try different values for this, a equal to 4, a equal to 5, you may find that for every value you substitute for a, this equation is going to satisfy. It means that particular value is going to be a solution for this particular equation. Hence, I say that a times a minus 2 equal to a square minus 2a is true for all the values of a. You can take any value. You can take a equal to half, a equal to 3 by 2, a equal to 0.1. Now, for all the values, it is going to be true. Whereas this particular equation, a times a plus 1 equal to 6, is only true for two values, that is 2 and minus 3. For rest of the values of a, it is not true, right? An equation is called an identity if it is satisfied by any value that replaces its variables. In this particular case of a times a minus 2 equal to a square minus 2a, for any value you take for a, you're getting the equation to be true. Or we can say that any value you take that is satisfying the given equation. Hence, such equations are called identity. Now we can say that the equation is true for certain values of variables. That is going to be a normal equation. That is like a times a plus 1 equal to 6. An equation which is true for all the values of given variables, then that equation is called identity. Please note this. Please note the difference between a regular equation and an identity. An equation is true for certain values of its variables. It means only for few values of variables it is going to be true. When it comes to identity, it is going to be true for any value you pick for its variables. Please note that. Hence, we can say that identity is an universally true equation. An equation is true for only certain values of variables, whereas identity is true for all the values of its variables, right? Hence, identity is an universally true equation. Please note this. Let's learn about some important identities now. We study three important identities that are product of binomials. Let us consider a plus b whole square. That can be written as a plus b times a plus b, right? We know how to multiply two binomials, right? We can write a times a plus b plus b times a plus b, right? Now you multiply these two terms, then these two terms like that. When you do that, you will get a square for these two and ab and ba for these two and b square for these two, right? AB and BA are same. Actually, A times B equal to B times A. That's why we can write it as AB plus AB. That's what I have written here. So now I can write it as A square plus 2AB plus B square. What we have now got is A plus B whole square equal to A square plus 2AB plus B square. It is an identity. You can pick any values for A and B and find the value of the left hand side expression, that is a plus b whole square, and find the value of a plus b a square plus 2ab plus b square. Those values are going to be the same. LHS is going to be RHS. That's why it is called an identity. Please note this. Let's learn about another identity. A minus b whole square can be written as a minus b times a minus b, right? It is a multiplication of two binomials. I know how to write. First, I'll write a times a minus b, then plus minus b times a minus b, right? When you simplify it, you get it as a square minus ab plus b square. That means it is a square minus 2ab plus b square. So the identity is a minus b whole square equal to a square minus 2ab plus b square. It is an identity because for all values of a and b, it is going to be true. Please note this identity also. Now let's learn about another identity. A plus b times a minus b. That can be written as a times a minus b plus b times a minus b, right? That can be written as a square minus ab for this, and BA minus B square for those. Now, as you see here, I can write AB and BA are same. It means minus AB plus BA is going to be cancelled out, right? When I cancel these two, what I'll have is A square minus B square, right? So let me write this. A plus B times A minus B equal to A square minus B square. Please note this identity also. Now let's learn about another identity. X plus A times X plus B is what? I can write it as X times X plus B plus A times X plus B, right? X plus X, sorry, X times X is X square, X times B is BX, A times X is AX, A times B is AB. Let's multiply that way. Now as you see here, I can write it as X square plus AX plus BX plus AB, right? These two are looking same, AX plus BX, right? If I take X as the common factor out, I can now write it as A plus B times X, right? The whole expression now is going to be X square plus A plus B times X plus AB, right? Let's write it now. X plus A times X plus B equal to X square plus A plus B times X plus AB. This is also an identity. You can take any values for X, A and B and see whether the value of LHS is going to be equal to value of RHS or not. It is going to be true for all the values of X, A and B. That is why it is called an identity. Please note this. Let us now learn about application of identities. Find 3x plus 4y whole square is what? 3x plus 4y whole square can be written as 3x plus 4y times 3x plus 4y. This is a multiplication of two binomials, right? We know how to solve this, but in this case, we are going to make use of identities to solve this problem. We know that a plus b whole square can be written as a square plus 2ab plus b square, right? If you compare a plus b whole square with 3x plus 4y whole square, then you can say that a equal to 3x and b equal to 4y, right? Now, we can make use of the RHS of the identity given, that is a square plus 2ab plus b square, to expand 3x plus 4y whole square. How are we going to do that? Simply you write a square equal to 3x whole square, 2 times ab equal to 2 times 3x plus 3x times 4y plus b square is 4y whole square, right? We know 3x whole square can be written as 9x square, and 2 times 3x times 4y can be written as 24xy, and 4y whole square can be written as 16y square, right? This is the answer we are looking for. This is much simpler than doing a by multiplication of two binomials, right? When you make use of identities, you can solve the problems, certain problems, much easier. Please take a note of this point. Let's solve another problem, that is find 204 whole square. 204 whole square can be written as 204 times 204 and multiply, right? Instead, what I'm saying is I'll write it as 200 plus 4 whole square. When I write it this way, I can make use of a plus b whole square equal to a square plus b square plus 2ab identity, right? All we would be requiring is now comparison of this 200 plus 4 whole square with a plus b whole square. Then I can say that a equal to 200 and b equal to 4, right? It means a square plus 2ab plus b square is going to be 200 whole square plus 2 times 200 times 4 plus 4 square, right? We know 200 square is going to be 40,000 and 2 times 200 times 4 is going to be 1600, and 4 square is 16. Now simply add these three terms so that the answer you get is 41,616, right? 204 whole square is 41,616. This is the answer we are looking for. Let's take a look at another problem. Find 302 times 308. What is the product of these two numbers? One can simply multiply, but we are going to make use of one of the identities we learnt in this topic. So let me write it as 300 plus 2 times 300 plus 8. You may recall that x plus a times x plus b is written as x square plus a plus b times x plus ab, right? Now you compare 300 plus 2 with x plus a and 300 plus a 8 with x plus b. Then you can say that x equal to 300, a equal to 2 and b equal to 8, right? Now you substitute those values into RHS of the identity. When you substitute, you can say that it is going to be 300 square plus 2 plus 8 times 300 plus 2 times 8. You further simplify this, so 300 whole square can become 90,000, and 2 plus 8 is 10. 10 times 300 is 3000, and 2 times 8 is 16. So you sum them such that you get the answer as 93,016, right? 302 times 308 is 93,016. This is what we are asked to find. Let's learn about geometrical verification of identities. The first identity we are going to verify is a plus b whole square equal to a square plus 2ab plus b square. To do that, let me consider a square of size a plus b. When I say square, all four sides are of equal length, right? And the area of square is square of the side length, right? So area can be written as a plus b whole square, right? Let me draw a square of size a within this square. As you see here, the small square I have drawn has got side length a, right? The remaining part, if you see from here to here, that is going to be b. Similarly, the remaining part on the other side is also going to be b, right? Now let me extend the sides of the smaller square such that the bigger square is now becoming four parts: 1, 2, 3 and 4, right? 2 are squares in this, 1 and 3 parts are squares, and 2 and 4 are rectangles, right? Now let me mark the side lengths of all these. As you see here, the area of the square of side length a is going to be a square, and other square is going to be of area b square, the smaller one here, and rectangle is going to be, area of rectangle is going to be a times b, right? Because a is length and b is width here, and in this particular case b is width and a is length. That's why area of the fourth part is also equal to ab, right? Now the total area is going to be sum of all these four areas of the subparts, right? A square plus ab plus ab plus b square, right? It can be written as a square plus 2ab plus b square. And we know the total area is equal to area of the bigger square, that is a plus b whole square, right? And here from the sum of the subparts, we got it as a square plus 2ab plus b square, right? It means a plus b whole square equal to a square plus 2ab plus b square, right? This is how we verify the identity. Let's now learn to verify another identity, that is a minus b whole square equal to a square minus 2ab plus b square. To do that, let me now consider a square of size a as shown here. its area is going to be a square, right? Now let me draw a square of size b as shown in the figure. The remaining part of the side of the bigger square is going to be a minus b, and this side also it is going to be a minus b, right? Now let me extend the side length of smaller square such that I make it into 4 parts. 1, 2, 3 and 4, right? Where you have 2 squares and 2 rectangles. Now area of the small rectangle is b square, sorry, small square is b square, and area of the square in pink color is a minus b whole square, right? Area of rectangle is going to be a minus b times b, or b times a minus b. Let's write that. Now the total area, we know the total area is a square, and at the same time I can get the total area as sum of the areas of all 4 parts, right? B square is corresponding to the small square, and b times a minus b is the next one, and b times a minus b is the area of this rectangle, and a minus b whole square is area of the square, right? When you sum them, you should be getting the total area that is equal to a square, right? B square is written as is, b times a minus b is written as ba minus b square, and b times a minus b here is also written as ba minus ba minus b square, and a minus b whole square is kept as is. Okay, now let's simplify. To simplify, this is minus b square, I can cancel that with plus b square, right? I have now plus ba, let me write it as 2 times ab, and let me write this b square as is here, minus b square plus a minus b whole square, right? This can be written as a square equal to 2ab minus b square plus a minus b whole square. If I take these two onto the other side, meaning if I transpose them, then what I'll be getting is a square minus 2ab plus b square equal to a minus b whole square. This is the identity, right? Now let's learn to verify another identity, that is a plus b times a minus b equal to a square minus b square. To do that, let's consider a square of size a as shown here. And let's draw a square of size b within this as shown in the figure. And we know that the remaining part is going to be of length a minus b, and this remaining part is also going to be a minus b, right? And we know the smaller square area is b square. Let me shade the remaining part of the figure except this smaller square, okay? That, if you want to get the area of that portion which is shaded in pink color now, that is going to be a square minus b square. A square is the area of the bigger square and b square is the area of smaller square, right? The area of the colored portion is a square minus b square, right? Let me extend the side of one of the sides of the square such that now I get the colored portion into 2 parts, 1 and 2, right? These two are 2 rectangles. For rectangle 1, one side is of length a minus b and other side is of length b, right? For the rectangle 2, one side is a minus b and other side is a, right? Let's now take sum of these two areas. Area of small rectangle is b times a minus b, and area of a bigger rectangle is a times a minus b. Let's sum them so that the area of colored portion is going to be b times a minus b plus a times a minus b. Now you know how to multiply these. and simplify. When you simplify it, you can get it. Of course, instead of multiplying, actually what you have to do is, let's not multiply. Since a minus b is common across these two terms, let me take it as a common factor out. Then what I'll be having is b plus a, right? I have taken a minus b as the common factor out. It means from this term I'll be having b, and from this term I'll be having a. So, and this plus sign, right? This can be now written as a plus b times a minus b also, right? So area of colored portion is a square minus b square, that is equal to a plus b times a minus b. Let's write that out now. A plus b times a minus b equal to a square minus b square. This is the identity we wanted to verify, right? I hope you like the video. Please like, share and subscribe to our channel Learn to Score. Thank you.